Red Bull and Alpha Tauri find themselves in the midst of a high-stakes dilemma. With a talented young driver eager for a chance, an underperforming senior driver they can't let go of, and a loyal Japanese driver committed to Honda, they're facing a complex puzzle. And in the midst of it all, there's the enigmatic Helmut Marko. These teams are battling multiple challenges that demand urgent attention. Can they navigate this turbulent terrain, or are they headed for a stormy ride? Let's find out. Red Bull may have secured both titles, but their journey to success is far from smooth sailing. Amidst the glory, they're grappling with management conflicts and driver woes that leave no room for complacency. A host of issues demand attention across both teams. However, before diving into the challenges ahead, let's begin with a glimmer of hope, or at least something that should be positive. Just under 2 months since breaking a metacarpal in his left hand in an accident in practice at Zandvoort, Daniel Ricciardo is fighting fit and ready to battle for much-needed points for Alpha Tauri over the final 5 rounds of the 2023 season. The 34-year-old veteran driver has been frustratingly stranded on the sidelines for the last 5 Grand Prix. Recovering from surgery on his hand, he received less than 48 hours after hitting the wall in the Netherlands and sustaining his injuries. Since then, Alpha Tauri has drifted 7 points off their closest rival, still stranded at the bottom of the Constructors' Championship table. Not that Daniel's replacement can be blamed, whose 9th place finish in Singapore was the team's best of the season. We'll come back to Liam Lawson shortly though. Fittingly, Ricciardo's return comes at a venue that has become a de facto home Grand Prix for him. While Texas is over 16,500 kilometers away from Ricciardo's Western Australian home, his appreciation of Texan culture and barbecue have made him a cult hero in Austin. Ricciardo also demonstrated a 2011 RB7 around the streets of Nashville last weekend, a final test of sorts to confirm he was indeed ready to race again. Ricciardo's comeback also signals the end to Liam Lawson's stint racing the Alpha Tauri in his place. However, the 21-year-old will instead be competing for the Japanese Super Formula Championship in Suzuka next weekend. Lawson's cameo has impressed pretty much everyone. He beat Tsunoda in 3 of the 4 races they both finished, despite only qualifying ahead of his Japanese teammate once. Clearly, the Kiwi has some excellent race skills, and with more time to adjust to a Formula 1 car, he would surely be matching, if not beating Yuki in qualifying on a regular basis. If Alpha Tauri hadn't committed to Daniel Ricciardo for 2024, Lawson would surely be in with a shout for a seat. Someone who hasn't impressed and is currently sat in the only spare seat for 2024 is Williams' Logan Sargent. James Vowles was recently asked about Liam Lawson being a free agent. However, the Mercedes strategy boss dodged the Lawson question, diverting the discussion towards the lack of opportunities F1 provided for rookie drivers to develop. He said, "I think we as a sport have a responsibility to perhaps relook at the rules and say, how do we introduce rookie drivers to it? You can see Liam will be sidelined, and I think he's absolutely deserving of a seat on this grid. And it's a reflection, I think, of these difficult sprint race formats, followed by 1-hour sessions, followed by a lack of opportunity to grow," Vowles concluded. Unless Logan shows some tangible improvement for Williams, you have to imagine they'll be coming for Liam Lawson, who would be a great fit alongside the steady hand of Alex Albon. Liam could wait till 2025 and a seat at Alpha Tauri, but is it really worth the wait? Or would he be better off joining a team that is already improving, and a team that will support him as well? Would you rather be at Alpha Tauri and have Helmut Marko badmouth you in the media every week, or go to Williams and have James Vowles support you and defend you? Let me know in the comments your pick. Speaking of Helmut Marko, the Austrian has been talking to the media again and gave hints to a rift forming at Red Bull. Marko is known for being pretty blunt with his comments to the media, something Nick de Vries and Sergio Perez know all too well. But when he made racist comments about Checo a few months ago, he overstepped a line. He said that Checo could never be like Verstappen or Vettel because he's South American and doesn't have the same focus as them. Clearly, he forgot that Mexico is in North America and that Ayrton Senna, Nelson Piquet, Emerson Fittipaldi and Juan Manuel Fangio exist. It has been reported that tensions have been rising between Marko and Red Bull boss Christian Horner as they've fallen out over the Austrian's continued Sergio Perez comments, as well as Horner's increased control at Alpha Tauri. Marko is advisor to both Red Bull teams and manages their youth programs, but he's not directly involved in the running of either team, despite how it may seem. When Red Bull founder Dietrich Mateschitz passed away, Marko lost his biggest supporter, and the new sporting CEO, Oliver Mintzlaff, along with Horner, are 2 of the many Red Bull employees keen to see the back of Marko. It has been widely reported that Red Bull are holding a meeting this week to discuss Marko either leaving the organization completely or taking on a very different role. Helmut has denied this though. "There is no summit this week," he said. "I have a contract until the end of next year. When and how I stop, when it's over, I decide, and not, for example, Mr. Horner." This comment about Christian Horner is a surprise. Horner and Helmut have always seemed like a team in the public, but the fact that Marko has specifically called out Christian as having no say in his future hints at a power struggle between the two of them. Horner is head of all things Red Bull F1, and under his leadership, the team have completely upset the traditional F1 status quo. By having complete control of the team, he's guided them to 13 titles in total. But Helmut Marko has always sat somewhere outside of his power, due to the Austrian's close friendship with the company's founder. Asked if there was a power struggle specifically between himself and Horner, the Austrian admitted people are trying to gain more power within Red Bull, but he didn't name any names. Due to the new constellation, after the death of the Mateschitz, everything is different. "People are trying to redefine their powers," he simply said. "I wouldn't be surprised at all if Red Bull's new corporate powers want Helmut moved away from their teams." His association with Red Bull has caused plenty of embarrassment this season, and his racist comments about Checo will have pushed plenty of people over the edge. However, that's reportedly not the only issue. Marko and Horner are at odds over Yuki Tsunoda's future within the organization. Although he's been confirmed as a 2024 Alpha Tauri driver, Horner is rumored to want him out and Liam Lawson in. Assuming a team like Williams doesn't come along and offer Liam a permanent seat for next season, then he may be all but guaranteed a place for 2025 anyway, as Yuki Tsunoda is heavily rumored with a move away from Red Bull. Next season will be his fourth with the Red Bull Junior team, and as amazing as it is to drive in Formula 1, Yuki, like all Formula 1 drivers, wants to be winning races, and at the moment, a place away from Red Bull seems the best way to make that happen. Honda have supported Tsunoda since before Red Bull signed him up. It was always convenient that Red Bull and Honda were partnered together. It probably isn't too much of a leap to say that the partnership between the two was part of the reason Red Bull signed Yuki in the first place. From 2026 though, Red Bull will be making their own engines, and Honda will instead be partnered with Aston Martin, a team that are in desperate need of a at least semi-decent second driver. In a recent interview, Yuki was insistent that he didn't want Red Bull to get the wrong idea from his links to Aston Martin, but also didn't deny that there weren't any conversations going on between the two. Pressed on whether Honda's impending tie-up with Aston Martin could impact his chances with Red Bull, Tsunoda replied, "I think from the Honda side, what they're saying is that as long as I can succeed, as long as a Japanese driver can one day achieve success, they don't care where I go. They want a Japanese driver to be successful. Obviously, it would be lucky if we work together and achieve success, but in the end, they don't care about it. And that's what I really like about Honda. They don't care which team you're at. So I don't think they're focusing on Aston Martin or whatever. They're just focusing, as a driver, on Yuki Tsunoda and the support to make me a successful driver. With Honda building engines for Aston Martin from the 2026 season onwards, it is entirely possible that Yuki will make that move in 2025, when his contract with Red Bull is up, especially if Christian Horner isn't interested in continuing with him on the team." Along with the Tsunoda situation, there are question marks over Liam Lawson, Sergio Perez, and Helmut Marko's future. And we still don't know if Daniel Ricciardo is going to be able to perform back in a Formula 1 car, or if signing him up for 2024 was actually a huge mistake. But what do you think is going to happen? Could we see a mass exodus of Red Bull's public figures? Or will Christian Horner be able to keep everything under control? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.